Hey guys, and welcome back to Anthony's Tennis Hub. My name's Anthony Hirsch. Today I'm going to be giving my draw predictions for the ATP side of Cincinnati. Going to go over the draw, going over all four sections of the draw, giving my predictions for each and every single section. Then I will give semifinal predictions, then I will give final predictions. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Please don't forget to subscribe to Anthony's Tennis Hub if you are new, and please don't forget to like all that stuff. It's been a while. I'm back. I'm excited, here to stay. A lot of fun. Gonna be doing more stuff soon. I took a break, but not really a break. I was at the Atlanta Open doing lots of stuff, so that's partially where I've been at. And then I just need to, I was doing a little bit of a rest after that because I was tired and had other stuff going on. But it's been great. I had a good break, and now I'm back doing another draw preview. So for every single section, I'm gonna list the seeds of the section. I'm gonna give the storyline of every section, the biggest storyline in my opinion. Everything is my opinion. Giving the best matches of every section, not just first rounds, but up to third rounds, fourth round, quarterfinals, and also dark horses. And then eventually my quarterfinal prediction. I will also give my semifinal predictions, and then of course my prediction for the winner in the final. Let's just get into section one. Alright, so for section number one, the seeds, I've got Sinner, Humbert, Fritz, and Rublev, biggest storyline of the section. How is Sinner looking and feeling physically? He's dealing with an injury problem for sure with the hip. I'm hoping that it's not the same injury that he was dealing with around the clay season, around Madrid time, because at that time doctors were actually telling Jannik not to play Roland Garros. He didn't play Rome. The doctors are saying not to play Roland Garros because he doesn't want to risk making a chronic hip injury. So a bit worried for Jannik. I hope that's not what it is. So we're going to look and see how Jannik is feeling physically, how he's playing. And yeah, we'll go from there. I mean, the Rublev match, he was definitely playing with something hindering his performance. He was still playing really well at times, to be fair, but especially in the second set, looked really poor and out of it in the first set. And then had a great performance in the second set, but then the third set, the wheels came off. So we'll see how Sinner's looking. Best matches of the section, I give quite a few in the first section. Fritz Nakashima round one. That's an interesting one. Nakashima just beat Tommy Paul in Canada. Everybody who played the Olympics were having a lot of trouble in Canada, it seems like, to go straight from clay to hard courts. Not just clay to hard, but to go from basically from clay to grass, going from French Open to Wimbledon and Queens, etc. And then from Wimbledon you go to the Olympics on clay, and then you go back to hard court. So everybody who did that quick switch from Olympics to Canada, a lot of people were suffering. That's why, or a big reason as to why that this tournament was as crazy as it was in Canada. And is as crazy as it is. It's Popyrin versus Rublev in the final, and 3 out of the 4 players in the semis were unseeded for the first time since I don't remember when. 2012 Paris, I think, when it was Jerzy Janowicz, Gilles Simon, and Michael Lodra in that semifinal. That was a crazy tournament. David Ferrer was the other semifinalist in the era of the Big Four making master semis. Sinner Greek Sport round 2 is another match I listed on here. Almost didn't put this, but because Sinner is looking a little bit off and the last 2 matches they played were 3 sets and pretty entertaining, I decided to put this one on here. Fritz Rublev round 3 is another match that I decided to list. And Sinner Fritz quarterfinal, I put Rublev in parentheses there because he is the seed that's supposed to make it, but Sinner Fritz is an underrated matchup. They played a match in Indian Wells last year that was really underrated, an absolute battle, so decided to put that one. And then obviously Sinner Rublev quarterfinal would be really good. A rematch the week after Canada in Cincinnati, so that'd be great. But Rublev's never done very well in Cincinnati at all. He's never been past the second round of Cincinnati in 4 attempts, so keep an eye on that. Dark horses, Nakashima. Like I said, Nakashima just took out Tommy Paul. I think he'll like the conditions in Cincinnati, and I would just watch out for him in Cincinnati in general. Like I said, he's got Taylor Fritz in the first round. Fritz hated the conditions in Cincinnati last year. Just absolutely hated them. He said that last year's were fast and bouncy, that they were super windy, the toughest conditions he'd ever played in. Made it to the quarterfinals, but lost badly to Djokovic in the quarters, and the draw there was very, very simple. He faced a retirement of Dusan Lajovic, in the fourth round. He had Sonego, he had Lehechka, etc. It wasn't a tough draw for Fritz in relative terms. Quarterfinal prediction in 3, 2, 1. Jannik Sinner defeats Brandon Nakashima in 2 sets. Maybe a little bit of a surprising pick there with Nakashima, but it's not like Canada didn't have surprises either. I decided to go with Nakashima. I feel like Rublev, like I said, he's struggled in Cincinnati in the past. Like, he has struggled in those conditions. Fritz also does not like those conditions. I think it welcomes a run that might be a little bit surprising. Nakashima played really well last week to beat Tommy Paul. He also played a really strong game. Lost to Rublev there, but I feel like he could go for revenge, and these are conditions. I mean, Rublev's going to have to rebound so quickly, go back to Cincinnati. I mean, we saw what happened when Rublev won Madrid, and then he was to play Rome, and then he didn't do well in Rome or Roland Garros. So I decided to go with a bit of an upset here. I have Nakashima making it through to the quarterfinals, then I have Sinner through Nakashima. So a great draw for Jannik, for sure. I believe Jannik has never played Humbert, but Greek Spore and Humbert have been having good results at all recently. So I have Nakashima in there. I like Nakashima, and it would be cool to see him make a quarterfinal in front of the home crowd who will be cheering him on. So I have Nakashima, the next gen finals former champion, making it through to the quarters. But Jannik, I still feel it depends on his health, but I think he's got a relatively good draw, depending on how Rublev looks, and we'll see. I mean, I think that Rublev had a relatively tough time in Canada before this week, and he's been doing well this week, so that would be a devil's advocate argument, but I just don't like Rublev in Cincinnati, and I feel like I really like what I saw from Nakashima last week, so I'm deciding to go a bit of a run for Nakashima, but Sinner will like his draw, and he's still playing really well. It just depends on his health. Section 2, I've got Zverev, Korda, Shelton, Dimitrov. I went back and forth on this section so many times, I'll tell you what. I'll go over that later. But storyline of the section, Korda and Zverev both in form or actually not really Zverev in form, Korda in form, could have a rematch for maybe a semifinal spot, maybe. Matches of the section, Shelton Opelka round 1. Basically, they're going to be not trying to win the match, but trying to break the serve speed record, one-on-one. So, yeah, anyway, that should be really good. Zverev Korda round 3 is another matchup, and then Zverev Dimitrov quarterfinal is another matchup as well. Zverev and Dimitrov hates playing Zverev. He lost him like 5 times last year, but he beat him in Miami this year, so that'll be interesting if we get it. But let's see. Zverev Korda, obviously a rematch. Korda beats Zverev in a great 3-set match today, this week in Canada. So that's what that is. Dark horses: Ben Shelton and Arnaldi. I put Shelton in here because, I mean, he's still going at it. He's still trying. He's going to be motivated to have a good result in front of defending U.S. Open semifinals points. He had a good result here last year, 2 years ago? 2 years ago, when he beat Casper Ruud 6-3, 6-3 in Cincinnati. So I just watch out for him. And Matteo Arnaldi just got to the semifinals. He's playing well, so that speaks for itself. And I did not count Korda as a dark horse. So this is what happened. Before I mention what happened in my quarterfinal, I changed this 3 times. I'll repeat. I changed who gets through this section 3 times and who wins the quarterfinal match. At first I had Korda, but that will be a quick turnaround from Canada. Especially, I decided to, I put Korda and then I saw him beat Zverev. I thought he was going to make the final. I was like, okay, if he makes the final, plays Monday, I just think it's too quick of a turnaround. He's made the semifinal in 4 straight events that he's played, which is great momentum, good for Korda, but also that's a lot of tennis, like a lot of matches to play. And to reach your second, I think, ever Masters 1000 semifinal, and then to be asked to do it again the next week is a bit of an ask. He's never made that far in Cincinnati, so I decided to then put Zverev, and I put Zverev through to the final. I had Zverev win this section, then I had him through to the final. I had my whole draw panned out, and then I changed my mind one more time once I saw that Korda lost his semifinal to Popyrin, but I didn't put Korda through. I didn't change my mind and put Korda again. This is what I decided. I decided Korda beats Zverev again. I don't like where Zverev's form right now. He's playing weird. He's not taking chances. Mentally, he's out of it. He lost to Feast in that match, in a close match. He lost him 2 sets up against Fritz at Wimbledon. I don't like where he's at mentally. It's weird. He had 11 double faults in his last match. I almost had him in the final, but no. I decided no. My prediction, Dimitrov defeats Korda in 3 sets, and I had Grigor in my mind as well, I'm not going to lie. He's done well in Cincinnati. He didn't play the Olympics. He's going into the U.S. swing. Just focus on the U.S. swing. He lost to Poprin with a match point, which doesn't look as bad now, but still, it's not a great loss. But I still think that, listen, if Korda can beat Zverev, I think Korda will be tired. And I think Dimitrov can get revenge from a very close, great match they had in Halle. That could have gone either way. 7-5 in the 3rd set. Could have gone either way. I think Dimitrov is determined to get his revenge over Korda. That was a really great match. And I think he'll get his revenge. And I think he beats Korda in 3 sets. So, yeah, that's what it is. The reason I had Zverev at first, because I think he'll be really motivated to defend semifinal points here, especially because he's not really in form. He's played really well here in the past. He won 3 years ago. With a classic over Tsitsipas. I mean, he's played well here before. And also he's going to be defending more 500 titles. That's the case for Zverev, but I just don't really like where he's at right now. So, off of form, who's not tired, I'm going to go with Grigor. I mean, maybe not even form, but I just feel like Grigor's going to pick it up, and I'm happy with that. Section 3, seeds, Hurkacz, Paul, Musetti, and Medvedev. Biggest storyline of the section. An event that Medvedev generally loves, can he finally find his game? Okay, I'm not going to kid anybody. Medvedev has not been in form. He's not been confident. He hasn't been himself. Canada is also an event he's done well in the past. But also, everybody who played the Olympics was struggling a bit in Canada. I want to point that out, pretty much. And everybody who's played the Olympics was kind of struggling a bit in Canada. So I like Medvedev more in Cincinnati even than I do in Canada. And I like him in the U.S., and I love him in these fast conditions. And I feel like he might be able to pick it up. I just want to point that out. This is an event he usually does well in. Even in 2022, he got to the semifinal, I believe. But still, in general, it's an event he's won. He's gotten to the final. Matches of the section. Medvedev-Paul quarterfinal could be really good. Tiafoe, Davidovich, Fokina round 1. Hurkacz versus Medvedev quarterfinal could be a great rematch off of Australian Open, one of my favorite matches this year, maybe my favorite outside of the Olympic final, which was insane. Yeah, I mean, some of the best men's matches this year for me, personally, Alcaraz-Djokovic final of the Olympics, Medvedev-Hurkacz quarterfinal of Australian Open, and Musetti-Djokovic round of 16 at the French. Let me know what's your favorite match of the year so far, men's or women's side, but those are some of my favorites on the men's side. But yeah, I also, by the way, Tiafoe Fokina round 1. When I got a chance to interview Davidovich Fokina in Atlanta, one-on-one interview, Francis Tiafoe was right there, like just joking around with Fokina, like right before before he was going to do press with me. So I got to have like a 3-minute one-on-one conversation with Fokina. So they're very friendly. So that's going to be a very friendly matchup. Dark horses: Musetti versus ADF. Musetti, ADF, I mean, Fokina, I just think Fokina is a dark horse for sure. I mean, I think he's done well in Cincinnati in the past, I believe, but I would watch out for Fokina, just always a dangerous player. And then Musetti speaks for itself, what a summer he's had, so, yeah, Musetti really speaks for himself. Quarterfinal, I've got Medvedev defeats Tommy Paul in 2 sets. That's my prediction in section number 3. So Paul did really well here last year. I like him in these conditions. He pushed Alcaraz to 3 sets. Actually won 10 consecutive points against Alcaraz. Blitzed him in a tiebreaker. So that was right after he beat Alcaraz in Canada. Maybe too tough a task to beat him 2 events in a row, especially the way Alcaraz was playing in Cincinnati. But I like Paul here, and I think that he can do really well. But Medvedev beat Paul in Beijing last year 6-1, 6-2. I like Medvedev versus Paul on a quick hard court, and I think Medvedev picks up his game and shows everybody who's boss, like he did at Wimbledon when he beat Sinner, like he's done so many times when everybody's counting him out. And I think Medvedev likes all the eyes off of him, and I think Medvedev beats Paul in 2 sets. So that's what I'm thinking here. Section number 4, seeds. Ruud, Tsitsipas, Rune, and Alcaraz. Storyline of the section. Alcaraz is a huge, huge favorite in the section. Can he do one better in Cincy this year? Yeah, Alcaraz is a big favorite in the section. I mean, what a summer he's had. He lost to freaking god-level Novak and Roland Garros, Olympics, who cares? Novak was straight out 2015 playing amazing, so I don't care. Alcaraz won Wimbledon, he won Roland Garros, he's playing great. He played great in Cincinnati last year, also lost to pretty much god-level Novak, so it's fine. His draw, he's got Casper, he's got Rune, both not really in form. Who else? Tsitsipas not really in form. I mean, there's not that much more you could ask for. Some dangerous names here like Draper, FAA, Berrettini, so you never know, but I think it's a great draw. Matches of the section, speaking of, Tsitsipas versus Jan-Lennart Struff in the first round. Struff has had good performances in Cincinnati in the past, beating some top seeds. David Goffin when he was like the 7th seed, I think, and Shapovalov, I believe. And he got to the quarterfinals here. So Struff can play well here in these conditions, and we'll see what happens. Rune Berrettini, round 1 is another crazy first round. Monfils versus Alcaraz, second round. I have to put this, it's probably not going to be that close of a match, but you got to put this one down because they're both ridiculous shot makers. So Rune Alcaraz, round 3 is my other one, battle of the next gen. And race to see who is the best of the young guys. Alcaraz is winning by a lot. Dark horses, Berrettini. Berrettini is my dark horse here. Matteo Berrettini, I mean, you got to put him down. His Masters, the difference between his Masters and Slam performances, I've said this before, is really crazy. He has like a 46% win rate at Masters. He's got like a 73% win rate at Slam. Something close to that. It's not exactly right, but something like that. So that's been off. But listen, Berrettini's been playing well recently. I hope he keeps up this momentum, and the draw is good. So I put him as a dark horse. My quarterfinal in 3, 2, 1. Alcaraz defeats Draper in 3 sets. Okay. Draper hasn't had the best results recently, like super recently. Lost to Cameron Norrie at Wimbledon, lost to Jordan Thompson last week. But the reason I put this is because the draw is very good. And just like the Zverev-Dimitrov Korda thing, not who makes it through the section, I felt confident Alcaraz makes it through the section, but I had a tough time choosing who Alcaraz was going to beat, who was going to make it to the quarterfinals at least. And I literally could imagine Tsitsipas, Struff, Draper, FA, and Ruud all doing it. Tsitsipas, not because he's in form, but because Steph is pretty good, and he's done well at Cincinnati in the past. Struff could do it, because I'm a big fan of Struff, and he's done well in Cincinnati in the past, made the quarterfinals in the past, he's playing some of the best tennis of his life. FA didn't do well at his last tournament, but once again, rebound from Olympics, which I'm being a little bit empathetic towards, and saying, listen, that's okay, and or being a little bit sympathetic towards, like, that's fine. And FA played amazing at the Olympics. There's a big meme of he plays well for his country, but if he plays well for his country, he can do it at other times. I'm curious to see how he does here. These are a bit quicker conditions. They could suit him. And then you have Casper Ruud. I don't like him in these conditions, so I kind of doubt that he makes it, kind of like Steph. So I just feel like it's a chance for somebody else to make it. And I'll tell you what, Draper beat Struff in a Sofia semifinal, big occasion, 6-3, 6-4 last year. That was when Struff was playing really well too, in similar conditions, relatively. Not the same, but similar-ish. Draper beat FA in straight sets at the US Open when Felix was at the prime of his career, 6th seed at the US Open. So that's straight sets win for Draper in a big moment. Draper's done well in America, 4th round of US Open last year. He has never played this tournament, but I think he got to the quarterfinals of Canada the first time he played it. I don't remember, but he's done well. I feel like Draper's got it, and I have Alcaraz beats Draper in 3 sets. Draper beat Alcaraz in Queens, and they played a very close match in Basel in 2022, where I felt like Draper is going to be a problem for Alcaraz. I have Draper taking a set, which already is like, whoa. But I feel like Alcaraz beats Draper in 3 sets. Semifinal predictions. Alcaraz versus Medvedev, Sinner versus Dimitrov. Semifinal predictions in 3, 2, 1. First, Alcaraz defeats Medvedev in 3 sets. I have Medvedev taking a set. I don't think necessarily that it's going to be straight sets. It was a very close first set in Indian Wells in conditions that Medvedev likes way less. I feel like Medvedev in these conditions, like the U.S. Open last year, I don't feel like it's a nothing matchup for Medvedev altogether. I feel like this is better for him than grass courts, and I feel like he could want to take in this occasion. And let's see what happens. People keep mentioning a match that they played at the ATP Finals on indoor hard courts, and it does matter, but I almost feel like, I don't know, it was a dead rubber for Medvedev. I feel like in the matches that they played that have been super competitive and have more stakes to them, I feel like in conditions that Medvedev really likes, Medvedev's done well. So let's see if we have another U.S. Open thing. I have Medvedev taking 1 set. So 2 3-setters for Alcaraz that he gets through. Not dissimilar from last year in Cincinnati. He had a few 3-setters, so we'll see. Semifinal number 2 in 3, 2, 1. Dimitrov defeats Sinner in 3 sets. I'm not that confident in Sinner at this point. I think he's got a great draw. If Dimitrov makes it to the semis, it means he's playing really well. I feel like Dimitrov has a lot of variety that can be something against Sinner. If Dimitrov plays the level he did in Miami, for example, this year, with the first strike tennis he was playing in Miami, Sinner beat him badly there, but I think Sinner likes Miami conditions more than he likes Cincinnati conditions. We'll see how Sinner is health-wise. We'll see how Sinner is form-wise, but I'm taking those things into account, and that's why I have Dimitrov beating Sinner in 3 sets. Kind of getting revenge from a couple times this year. Wouldn't be the first time we've seen something like that, even when it's super unexpected. I mean, Sinner taking out Medvedev last year the way that it was. Dimitrov's played really well in Cincinnati in the past, and I have Dimitrov getting through. My final, Alcaraz versus Dimitrov in 3, 2, 1. Alcaraz defeats Dimitrov in 2 sets. Dimitrov with an amazing run, but I think Carlos is too strong, too good, and I think Alcaraz gets it done. He's been playing amazing this summer. He's got all the tricks and the skills and the, all of the things that Dimitrov has, pretty much, but he's a little bit more consistent. He's got the confidence, and he's got the form. And I think Alcaraz will really want to rebound off of that Olympics final loss. I think he'll be able to. Maybe not the way that he was able to rebound off of the Cincinnati loss to Djokovic in that epic all-time match last year. But if he could rebound and win Cincinnati, that would be pretty amazing for Alcaraz. I think he'll be motivated to do so. And have a great preparation going into the U.S. Open. We'll see how if Alcaraz isn't tired, etc. There are question marks in that regard, but I have Alcaraz over Dimitrov. I would have also had Alcaraz over Zverev. I kind of don't think Sinner's going to make it to the final just because I'm not that confident after Canada. I just like his draw up until the semis. But I've got Dimitrov over Sinner in a huge upset. That would be huge if it could happen. I don't think it's a good matchup overall for Dimitrov, but I don't think it's a nothing matchup. In terms of I don't see any pluses for Dimitrov. There's something there. And if he has a good serving day, I like him in Cincinnati on the quick conditions. We'll see what Dimitrov can do. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I've got Alcaraz winning Cincinnati, continuing off an amazing form this year. Alcaraz is that guy. He could do it. We'll see. And I have Alcaraz getting the dub. And let me know what you think. Who's going to win Cincinnati? Appreciate everybody tuning in for the tennis. I'll see you guys for more stuff. Please don't forget to subscribe, to like, all that stuff. I'll see you guys at the next one.